What if a single drone could control an entire swarm of attack drones and completely change the rules of air combat? It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But this is exactly what China's latest drone, the Gotian, also called Joian, promises to do. Unlike ordinary drones which fly alone and perform simple tasks like reconnaissance or targeting, the Gotian is designed to be a true drone mothership. It's massive, with a wingspan of 25 meters and a takeoff weight of 16 tons. Its range? An astonishing 7,000 kilometers. And it can operate at altitudes up to 15,000 meters, nearly the cruising height of passenger jets. But the real game changer isn't its size or range. The Gotian can carry and control over 100 smaller drones or cruise missiles simultaneously. Imagine hundreds of micro-drones moving like a coordinated army in the sky, each performing its own mission, scouting, jamming enemy radars, or delivering precision strikes, all under the command of this single airborne mothership. And here's the kicker. This isn't just a concept or prototype. China is preparing for its first flight soon, potentially bringing this futuristic weapon into the real world. The implications are enormous. One aircraft could alter the balance of air combat, making traditional dogfights and even manned aircraft formations vulnerable. In short, the Gotian isn't just a drone. It's a sign that the rules of air warfare might be on the verge of being rewritten, and that China could be leading the charge. Before diving deeper into military drones, it's important to understand how China got here. For the past 2 decades, China hasn't just been building drones, it's been dominating the global market. Today, Chinese companies control roughly 70% of the world's civilian drone market, with DJI becoming a household name in photography, logistics, and even agriculture. What's fascinating is how civilian technology laid the groundwork for military innovation. Take DJI's expertise in precision flight, swarm coordination, and autonomous control. These skills weren't originally intended for warfare. They were used for aerial photography, crop monitoring, or even massive drone light shows. For example, in April 2025, during the 50th anniversary celebration of the liberation of southern Vietnam, China deployed 10,500 drones to fly in perfect formation, creating images of the Vietnamese flag and other symbolic visuals. The entire display moved like a silky movie special effect, demonstrating China's ability to coordinate thousands of drones simultaneously with breathtaking precision. This wasn't just a record-breaking spectacle. It was proof that China had mastered large-scale drone control. Now, imagine taking that same precision and scale and applying it to a military battlefield. What was once a crowd-pleasing performance becomes a system capable of real-time coordination of hundreds of drones for reconnaissance, interference, or strike missions. Civilian expertise turned into military power. In short, China's dominance in civilian drones didn't just give it a global market advantage, it built the technical foundation for drones like the Gotian or Joian. The skills learned in agriculture, logistics, and entertainment are now being repurposed to redefine the battlefield. With the foundation set by civilian drone technology, China's military drones have taken a quantum leap in capability. Unlike hobby drones or even traditional UAVs, these machines are designed for speed, stealth, and versatility, combining intelligence, reconnaissance, and combat in ways the world hasn't seen before. Take the M.A.X.I, for example. This supersonic reconnaissance drone isn't just another spy aircraft. It's compact, about 11 meters long, 2.2 meters high, and with a wingspan under 7 meters, which makes it harder to detect on radar. But its real game changer is speed. Instead of a jet engine, it uses a rocket engine, giving it acceleration and top speeds between Mach 5 to Mach 8. To put that in perspective, the famous Soviet MiG-25 or the US SR-71 Blackbird, once symbols of extreme speed, seem slow compared to M.A.X.I. Then there's the FA-97 multi-role attack drone, unveiled at the Zhuhai Air Show in 2022. Unlike most drones that focus on reconnaissance, the FA-97 can perform air-to-air combat, ground strikes, sea strikes, and electronic warfare, and even act as an auxiliary wingman for manned stealth fighters like the J-20 and J-35. Imagine a drone flying alongside a fighter jet, taking on enemy threats independently and feeding intelligence back to the manned aircraft in real time. This isn't science fiction, it's modern warfare. The key point here is integration and autonomy. China's military drones aren't just tools. They're designed to operate in swarms, coordinate with manned units, and adapt to different missions. Each generation of drones increases operational reach, speed, and lethality, showing that China is moving from experimental UAVs to strategically significant platforms. By mastering speed, stealth, and multi-role functionality, China has set the stage for its next breakthrough, the Gotian or Joian drone, which takes the concept of an airborne carrier to the extreme. Now we arrive at the star of the show, the Gotian, officially called the Joian in China. Think of it not just as a drone, but as an airborne aircraft carrier, a flying platform that can control an entire swarm of smaller drones, carrying out reconnaissance, strikes, and electronic warfare all at once. Let's break down what makes it extraordinary: size and reach. With a wingspan of 25 meters and a maximum takeoff weight of 16 tons, the Joian dwarfs almost every existing UAV. It can fly up to 7,000 kilometers in a single mission, and its ceiling reaches 15,000 meters, nearly the cruising altitude of commercial airliners. Imagine a single drone taking off in China and crossing the entire Asian continent without stopping. That's the kind of range we're talking about. Modular honeycomb mission bay. Inside its massive fuselage lies a modular system capable of carrying over 100 micro-drones or cruise missiles. This allows it to switch roles depending on the mission. One day it could be launching a coordinated swarm of attack drones, the next it could act as a high-altitude reconnaissance platform. Comparisons to existing platforms. Even the famous MQ-9 Reaper pales in comparison. The Reaper is smaller, slower, and carries far fewer payloads. The Joian's ability to operate autonomously with a swarm gives it a force multiplication effect, far beyond what a single Reaper or even a fleet of traditional drones could achieve. In simple terms, think of it like a mothership in a sci-fi movie, releasing a fleet of fighter drones to overwhelm enemy defenses. But this is reality. China has turned a concept once seen only in Hollywood into a real operational platform. Here's where the Joian really changes the game: swarm combat. Imagine, for a moment, a single mothership drone releasing hundreds of micro-drones like a storm of tiny, intelligent fighters, each performing its own role but coordinated perfectly by the mothership. Some of these drones act as scouts, mapping enemy positions in real time. Others jam radar or communications, creating blind spots. The rest carry precision strikes, missiles, bombs, or electronic attacks. It's honestly like a single conductor leading an orchestra of hundreds of instruments, each playing a different but perfectly timed part. The result? Enemy defenses are overwhelmed, confused, and neutralized in milliseconds. China isn't just theorizing here. In 2024, a South China Sea exercise demonstrated that 200 micro-drones could simulate a saturation attack on an aircraft carrier formation, proving the swarm concept works in practice. This wasn't just a small-scale demo. It tested coordination, speed, and lethality, showing that quantity and precision together could defeat traditional defenses. By combining the mothership's intelligence with micro-drone execution, the Joian can essentially multiply its combat power exponentially. A single Joian with its swarm could do the work of dozens of conventional drones or manned aircraft, changing the rules of engagement and forcing adversaries to rethink how to defend against aerial threats. Swarm warfare turns the battlefield into a dynamic, unpredictable space where the sheer coordination of tiny, fast, and intelligent units can neutralize even high-tech defenses. The Joian isn't just impressive because of its size or swarm capabilities. It's a technological masterpiece that combines stealth, endurance, and ultra-secure communications to dominate the battlefield. Let's break it down a bit. First, stealth. The Joian uses a metamaterial skin, a next-gen material inspired by China's TP-10,000 transport aircraft. This skin reduces its radar signature by about 60%, making it almost invisible to conventional radar systems. Imagine trying to track a giant drone the size of a small plane, but it's cloaked in invisibility technology. Enemy defenses can barely see it until it's honestly just too late. Second, propulsion and endurance. Unlike typical drones, the Joian combines turbojet engines with hydrogen fuel propulsion. This hybrid setup is a real game changer. For speed, it can cruise between 600 and 700 kilometers per hour. For endurance, it can stay airborne for 12 hours, covering its full 7,000-kilometer range. That's enough to take off in China and reach the edge of the Pacific, even approaching Hawaii if needed. Efficiency-wise, hydrogen fuel provides 40% more range than traditional jet fuel at the same weight, meaning the drone can operate far longer without refueling. Third, quantum communication. One of the biggest challenges for drones in combat is interference. Traditional UAVs can be jammed, causing delays or even loss of control. The Joian avoids this with a quantum encryption communication module, allowing near-instant command and control. Even in a heavily jammed environment, the transmission delay is only 0.03 seconds, basically real time. Its swarm can execute complex, synchronized maneuvers without disruption. Together, these systems make the Joian more than just a big drone. It's a stealthy, fast, long-range, interference-proof airborne command center, capable of projecting power across continents. It's not just a tool, it's a platform that fundamentally challenges how air combat is fought. Now that we understand the Joian's size, swarm capability, and advanced technology, the next question is, why does this matter on the battlefield and beyond? The answer lies in its strategic impact. Traditionally, dominating the skies and seas required expensive manned aircraft and massive warships. But the Joian changes that calculus. By combining swarm drones with platforms like China's Type 076 amphibious assault ship, it can effectively threaten enemy aircraft carriers or naval formations at a fraction of the cost. To put it in perspective, one Joian drone costs roughly 1/150th the price of a modern warship. Yet, with its hundreds of micro-drones and missiles, it can carry out precision strikes, electronic warfare, and reconnaissance all at the same time. This is asymmetric warfare taken to a new level. Instead of building a fleet of expensive ships or planes, China can deploy a smaller, highly efficient force with enormous tactical leverage. But the implications go even further. The Joian represents a shift in military doctrine. Drones move from supporting roles to core strategic assets. Fewer manned fighters may be needed as autonomous systems take the lead in high-risk or long-range missions. Military planners must now consider swarm tactics, rapid modular reconfiguration, and quantum-secured communication as standard operational tools. In short, the Joian doesn't just expand China's drone arsenal, it rewrites the rules of how nations think about air and naval power. Traditional fleets and expensive aircraft are no longer the only path to strategic influence. A single swarm-enabled drone mothership could change the balance in a conflict. As we've seen, the Joian drone isn't just another military UAV, it's a revolution in air combat strategy. From its massive 25-meter wingspan and 7,000-kilometer range to its modular honeycomb bay carrying over 100 microdrones, this is a true airborne carrier capable of performing reconnaissance, electronic warfare, and coordinated strikes all at once. China's journey from civilian drone dominance to military swarm supremacy shows how technology once used for photography, logistics, and spectacular aerial shows now forms the backbone of cutting-edge warfare. Historical precedents like the 2024 South China Sea swarm tests demonstrate that these drones aren't just theoretical. They are combat-ready and tactically viable. The strategic implications are honestly pretty profound. Drones like the Joian could threaten enemy aircraft carriers and naval formations at minimal cost. Autonomous swarms could shift warfare away from traditional manned platforms, forcing global powers to rethink their military doctrines. This technology signals a new era where drones aren't auxiliary tools, but central instruments of strategic deterrence. As we look ahead, the big questions remain. Will other nations catch up, or has China taken a first-mover advantage in swarm-based combat? How will this influence U.S.-China competition, global air defense strategies, and naval power projection? And most importantly, what will the next generation of air combat look like when autonomous drone carriers dominate the skies? If this peek into the future of warfare fascinated you, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our deep dives into emerging military technologies. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think drone swarms will replace manned aircraft, or will they complement traditional forces? The battlefield is changing, and the sky is no longer the limit. It's just the beginning.